Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chad, CK Knife and Tool. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much for stopping over. Make sure you check those playlists out. I got a whole bunch of stuff over here. Family stuff, knives, trucks, camping, all sorts of weird things, nice things, things that you all might relate to. Well, today's video is a little walk around about my Nissan Titan. That's right, the 2017 Nissan Titan that I purchased last year January and started to slowly turn it into a nice capable family overlanding rig. And this video is a kind of recap of what everything's been looking like, what I've been doing on my Nissan Titan. Now granted, I have an entire playlist on a lot of the things that I've been adding to the Nissan Titan, but I wanted to do a one-year review in a way to show you some of the changes that I haven't done video to yet, also how those changes are working out, and as well as a review. It's been over a year since I've had my Guana equipment. This is the Wanaka 3 as well as my 270 awning, the Morpho. And I want to show you guys what I'm running, how I'm running it, what I like, dislike, pros and cons, everything else, as well as everything else on my Nissan Titan. So, hey, let's get started. Okay, gang, one of the first things I want to touch on is how has my 2017 Nissan Titan been holding up? I have to say, wonderfully. I love it. It is super comfortable. If you guys remember, I did videos in the past where last year my wife and I took the kids and we went all the way across to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan as far as Ishpeming, and we made it all the way back to Washington State. And in between, we dropped down through Cody, Wyoming, did Yellowstone, dropped down to Idaho Falls, came back up, drove the old highway through the Bitterroot Sawtooth Mountains, back through Missoula into Washington and back home again. Nearly 6,000 miles, all on trip in 21 days. Super comfortable, great ride. Everything was, I was very pleased with it. And that was after I had done the upgrade system. I did that Bilstein suspension system with the leveling kit and the lift on old trip here. So definitely a really good idea. I'm very pleased with that work that I've done, and a big shout out to Mike with Off-Road Warehouse for helping me get all that started, being a newbie in the whole system. Now getting to trip itself and the Nissan Titan, I am super happy with it. The Nissan Titan is a V8, 395 horsepower, 390 foot-pounds of torque. I did the Coyote Works Overland Rally. The majority of it was in two-wheel drive, no issues. Again, it's really nice to have that V8 and having decent fuel miles. I say decent because yes, I don't have good as much as I have decent. When it was stock, I had great gas mileage. When it was the four-wheel drive stock with the wheels and the tires and everything the way it was, I was pushing well over 20 miles a gallon on the highway. I think I was at 21 or 22 miles per gallon on the highway for a V8 that this truck weighs over 7,000 pounds. Now, I did the suspension system, which wasn't a big thing, but then I turned around and I upgraded to the General Grabber ATXs. I did a video on that before, not a big fancy video or anything, but the ATX is an awesome tire. And I went to that tire because I had been following Expedition Overland for several years. And that's the tire they've been running on their rigs for almost 10 years now. They did the ATX and then they did the mud terrain version. But they use both of those on all of their Toyotas and their Jeep Gladiator. So I thought to myself, that's good enough for me. And I've been super pleased with those General Grabber ATXs. Now, one of the other things I also wanted to touch on is what my family and I use. This is the Wanaka 3. It's a two-person rooftop tent. The Wanaka 3, I did standalone videos for that. Again, you'll find them in the playlist. But this Wanaka 3 has been a game changer, and it's really cool, and I see why people want to step up to a rooftop tent versus just a ground tent. Now, there are going to be pros to cons depending on what you want to do. When we do set up the rooftop tent, especially if I'm by myself or with my son, you set it up, you're good to go. And that's how I looked at camping. I didn't look at camping as setting up and taking down every single day. There's going to be pros and cons to that, but I think it's still a good value and a good idea, even if you did want to set up one night, camp, do everything else, and then the following morning you want to take down and travel somewhere else. It doesn't take very long. A lot of people get kind of stuck on whether it's going to take 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. You're going to have to measure your priorities. But I personally don't mind taking the 15 or 20 minutes to set up or take down if it's me or me and somebody else like Benny. We have no issues with it. Now having 3 or 4 people, it sets up and takes down so smooth and so quickly because you got people all the way around it. It's 5-6 minutes, it's up and ready to go. Now, one of the upgrades I did a while back, and I mentioned it last year in some videos, is the liner. It was originally made by Tepui, or made for Tepui, but now Guana Equipment actually has them for these rooftop tents. and it's a quilted insulated liner. That liner is a game changer for when it's cold outside. Yes, you'll still be chilly in the tent, but when you're up there or you and somebody else is up there, you kick on a buddy heater or just your body heat alone will definitely take the chill out. And again, my wife would even attest, the insulating liner has definitely been a really good bonus to having a rooftop tent. I would definitely say if you're going to do a rooftop tent, no matter who you're going to go with, make sure that you can get an insulating liner for it, because then that makes this 2 to 3 season tent into a 4 season tent. The other thing that we ended up doing is for our setup, we do use guidelines. I'll use 2 guidelines off the overhang for the Wanaka 3, and that's just perfectly, it's the perfect thing. It's set up for 3, but we only use 2. You can climb up and down the ladder with no problems. We don't use the annex that much. It does come with an annex. I don't use it that often because we actually have a tent for the kids. So Ben and Ella could have their own tent. Dutch goes ahead and stays with them. They get their privacy to hang out, and they have a little bit more room to flex and move around versus having the annex. Now, what's really good about the annex is if you're camping in an area where it's limited in space and size, and there's 3 or 4 of you, set up that annex. Myself and my wife could easily, 2 adults could easily lay in the annex beside the ladder on each side, and then still have room for gear or for our pup with no issue. So with the annex and the rooftop tent, you could sleep 4 with a pup or have some extra gear with no issues. And having the annex is really nice because it provides you a lot of shelter and some privacy for changing, for doing toiletries and cleaning up and stuff like that. But because we had the tent and we have access to other facilities, we didn't worry about the annex at all. But definitely, if you're looking at a rooftop tent, look to see if there's an annex available for it and whether it's included or if it's a separate price. With Goanna equipment, the annex comes with the price of all your rooftop tents. Whether it's a Wanaka or a Nosara, you will get an annex. There'll be different sizes and shapes, but you'll get one nonetheless. So that's a really good thing about Goanna, where other people, other companies, they were starting to add that in a little bit more. I think some are starting to come around to where now they're saying, oh, got to be more competitive. So now they're including the annex. But definitely, no matter what rooftop tent you get, you definitely want an annex. Now, what really is a cool game changer for a lot of people, and it's nice even if you're not going to have, I'm trying to adjust my ISO here you go guys. Even if you're not going to go ahead and do a rooftop tent right away and you still like ground tenting, the one thing you'd really like to look into is an awning. This is the Morpho 270. Again, I did a video before. I even showed up did a setup video. It's super lightweight. With the poles, the guidelines, the stakes, I don't think you're more than 40 pounds or so. In the video, I'm moving it and curling it with one arm, and it works perfectly. We have been super happy. I've used this in snow, rain, sleet, some pretty windy weather too over in Oregon, and still super happy with it. Again, to give you guidelines, the guidelines set up real simple, and I've had a lot of people in the past, I've watched videos, and they complain about the setup and the takedown, or being able to turn the 270 or deploy to 270 and not use the poles, or how long it's going to take to set up and take down. I'd really just have to say, don't get caught up in the 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't get caught up in that. Get what you think, number 1, you can afford. Number 2, what you could use to enjoy yourself. Now, enjoyment is a two-edged sword. You can buy some of the fanciest, most expensive stuff in the world and enjoy yourself. But the problem is you've had to spend a lot of money. The Morpho comes in under, at the making of this video in 2020, comes in under $400. And just like the Wanaka 3 that I have up on top of Trip, and the Morpho, I have promo codes. Now, if you want an awning, you can go to Goanna Equipment and you can type in CK Knife Awning, or you could do CK Knife RTT. If I said that wrong, I'll leave it down below because it's been a while. I don't normally promote promo codes all that often, but the codes still work, and Goanna Equipment will hook you up with free shipping, no sales tax, and a good discount. But what's more important, it kind of helps me out a little bit, just a little bit, but every little bit helps, right? Especially nowadays. But getting back to the awning though, I am super pleased with it, and like I said, I bought this stuff, so it's nothing that Goanna gave me and said, hey, here's all of our stuff. You advertise it, we give it to you for free. No, we actually bought this. We bought our awning and our rooftop tent, and that's why I can say I'm quite pleased with this. Again, we have it guided down. We have 4 guides on all the posts because we've been getting some gusts, but I'm super happy with the awning. And even though it's been in the mid-80s during the day, we're definitely shaded, and it's really, really a good pleasure to work, cook, and eat under something like this. Now, I was mentioning the tires and wheels and how upgrading those can make an effect on any rig whatsoever. And having gone to the General Grabber ATXs, I went up one extra size, so I'm running 275 70 R18s. That is still a size that is within the Nissan Titan's specs or parameters, because they offer the 275 or a 265 for their tire. So I wasn't stepping out of the realm that what Nissan would not recommend. The wheels though, I recently did a video and it went out. I have the Icon wheels. These are the rebounds. Super cool look, love the aesthetics. And what I also noticed is they actually offset the wheels, or offset my tires about a ½ inch or an inch. At least it appears that way. When I bought them, there was a 0 offset on it, but the way they were designed, it looks like it actually widened the stance just a little bit. Nothing that you're gonna probably notice too much, but I did. I noticed it when I sat back there, and I do like that. And that was what I mentioned in that video, is I was really concerned about having too much of an offset, because I'm not a wheel guy, I don't know a lot about it, and I need to see things first, and there wasn't anything out there that I could really look at and say, I like that. But I have to say, the Icon Racing Vehicle Dynamics, the rebound, these are 18 inches, so these wheels are the only wheels you can get for a stock Nissan Titan, being 18 inch. Most guys switch and they go to a 17 inch wheel, which is fine. They want more rubber, but I already had the tires, so I wanted to upgrade the wheels and not have to get rid of my fairly new tires. So Icon hooked me up with those. I don't have any promo code, nothing like that, but go check it out, Icon Vehicle Dynamics. I think there'll be a link down below, and you can check out your rig, whether it's a Nissan Titan or something else. They should be able to hook you up pretty good. Now, a video I did in a while, about 9 months ago or so, was about the N FAB. These are they're not rock sliders. They're a fairly heavy-duty tubular construction with steps, and again, they're made by N FAB. I got these through Lolo Overland, and when I went out to visit Josh one time. The last ones they sent us, the rock sliders, they didn't fit, so I ended up going back home. Josh hooked me up through N FAB, and they sent me these. I installed these with Benny. It took us all of 15 or 20 minutes to put both of them on. Super simple. They line up perfectly with the factory mount points that I had with the original SEPs. Pros and cons to these. Again, they are not a rock slider. They are simply to help protect the side of your vehicle and your lower rocker panels and your door panels from debris and everything. I have a little bit of a dent over here that I sustained when I was off with Josh and Tristan and them on that one trip. Is we were driving over a lot of debris that we had to clear the road, and I drove over one piece and it came back off. It came off the front tire and spun slightly and hit the door panel. With something like this, that would not have happened, but at the time I didn't have them. So they're good for that, and they're also good for a step to get in and out, both for my wife and the kids and I, but also to use as a stair system when we're setting up and taking down the rooftop tent. If you're looking for a lot more protection, meaning you can jack up your vehicle with a high lift or something, this would not be it. Again, this is for a stepping system and for some protection, but you're not going to be running your vehicle along rocks and stuff like that. I wouldn't do that. Also, because of the step right here, how it drops down, that's a snagging point. Even though they are tapered, maybe you'll get something caught up on it. I don't know. I didn't build this rig, nor am I the type of person to be doing any heavy rocking or super off-road stuff. Again, this is a family overlanding rig. This is meant to get us on dirt trails, gravel, through mud, through muck, through snow, and that's it. We are not, we don't get really to where we push the limits a lot and stuff like that. We don't go looking for trouble, I'll say. I just want a really good, capable rig to get us where we want to go with confidence. One other thing to touch on, these are the Fender flares that Rough Country sent me a while back. When I was doing a lot of driving and off-road with these new ATXs, what ended up happening is I was getting a ton of spray and rock across the side of my truck, up on my side mirrors. It was making a big mess, and with the rocks and everything, it's not exactly very good for your paint job. Now granted, if you're doing overlanding and off-roading, your paint job is pretty much the first thing that suffers with all your trail scratches, your marks, your tattoos, and whatever else you want to call them. But I reached out to Rough Country and talked to some of the reps over there about sending me a set of these to try out. They sent them to me. I then did a video. I painted them with a bed liner by Krylon. I sprayed them with a couple of coats. and then I installed them. It's been about a year since I've done that. I love these things. They keep my rig so much cleaner and more protected than they were in the past. I love it. I do like the look. Some people don't, some people do. Again, a lot of the stuff, it's all about personal preference, but this is also very utilitarian, like a lot of the things I do. I would definitely recommend these if you want to help protect your vehicle, keep it clean. These are definitely something to go with, and you can get these through Rough Country. Again, no promo code or anything, but just jump online, type in Rough Country, I think it's roughcountry.com, type in the model year for your vehicle, and hook yourself up with some of these fender flares. Now we're going to move into the cab a little bit here because I wanted to share this with you. Well, let me check this ISO here. Here we go. Okay, one of the videos I did a while back and pretty early on was a system here on my dashboard. Now this is really particular to Nissan Titan second generations. There's an actual panel up here on the dashboard. Forgot what it was used for. I think it was supposed to be for a subwoofer when you had the upgraded system in the Nissan Titan, the Premier or the Platinum Edition. This was a subwoofer. Otherwise, it's just a panel. It's a removable panel. What I did is I removed the panel and I bought a ram mount system right here. This is a rail, an aluminum rail, as well as their proprietary ram mount systems. And this is for my cell phone right here. And this is an arm that's adjustable. It's a 4-inch arm. And I use this for my GoPro. I have the GoPro Black. And I also can put my Garmin InReach on this as we're driving around. It is really, really helpful to have something like this. And it's the way I have it set up, and I would recommend this for you guys trying this out. You set it up and move it exactly how you can, number one, see beyond your items. Don't let it obstruct you too much, but number two, also that you can operate it safely and securely if you're on the trail. Definitely love it. It's been about 9 months or so since I did this upgrade, and I wanted to mention again, this video is in the playlist to how I did it, what I used, and where all the parts can come from. But super happy with that, and it's definitely been a game changer with operating in the canopy or in the cab of the vehicle. Now, having mentioned canopy, I want to mention my Leer Canopy. The Leer Canopy is one of the first things I bought when I got my Nissan Titan. And to this day, I love it. Now, a lot of people don't like canopy because they feel restricted. I've had pickup trucks pretty much my entire life. I've had several different brands, whether it's Ford, Chevy, GM, now Dodge, and now Nissan. I love a canopy because you can load a bunch of stuff in there, keep it secure, keep it clean, keep it dry, and that is super important. A lot of people like tonneau covers because some people just aren't comfortable driving a big rig or a big pickup truck and having this lack of view or thereof. It doesn't bother me again, but I have a lot of experience in driving pickup trucks. I personally would recommend using a canopy, Leer or otherwise. I think it's a great choice for a pickup truck and securing your valuables. With us, a family of 4, and having Dutch, it also gives us plenty of room to store whatever we want to store in here. Gives Dutch someplace to hang out and enjoy the ride as much as he does enjoy it. He'd rather be out of the truck and playing around, but he likes this. It gives him plenty of room, and it's safe and secure. But what it also did is it gave me an opportunity to get creative. And now is for the next thing. Okay, one of the things that I want to do is have some way to store both fuel and my recovery boards. We'll get the recovery boards for a second, but the first thing is my fuel. I used to have JP Racing fuel cans because we used to ride dirt bikes, and we used to take those JP cans and take them with us on our trips. And they're really heavy duty and durable, and we also use it for storing fuel during the wintertime for emergencies to run the generator and everything. But we just didn't have the room in the back of the truck when it came to our chairs, our table, all of our kitchen supplies and everything, as well as Dutch. And then there was a thing about having some fumes inside the vehicle, especially in the summertime, and having Dutch back there. I just didn't want that. I wanted some safer way to take fuel, store it, and not be in the way, because you don't always need spare fuel, but you want it, when you need it, you want to have it. So we wanted to find a way to better store it and travel with it. And that's where I came up with these. I went ahead and I reached out to offroadtents.com, and the fellows over there hooked me up with some roto packs. And what I did is I bought they were all out of the mounts, so I had to go on Amazon and I bought those. But I ended up making a mount system that actually is bolted to the side of my Leer. Now you might think, oh my God, I had to drill holes in my Leer. Yes, it was quite the pucker effect when I first did that. But once I did that first hole, my anxiety went away. I knew exactly what I was doing, and I proceeded with doing the rest of it. And I am super happy with the finished product. Each one of these is a 3-gallon can. Well, that means I have a can that weighs a little around 2 pounds. I have 3 gallons of fuel, which is right around at 18 and a half, 19 pounds. And then I have the mount system. Everything has been, I have butyl tape, I have butyl caulk, stainless steel bolts, hardware, everything bolted in, and aluminum backing. So I am not carrying a lot of weight actually for what it looks like, but it's super secure. And we actually just test rode all this stuff and on this trip, and I don't even notice it while I'm driving on the road. But again, I have a larger vehicle, I have a V8, so I don't notice as much as other people that might be in a Frontier or a Tacoma. But a super cool idea that I came up with, and I really like it. I actually recorded all the video how I did this, so maybe later if I think there's people interested in it, I'll put all that together and do a more detailed video about how I did the install and why I did it. But these were the Roto Packs. Again, I got these from Off-Road Warehouse. Matter of fact, the guys over at Off-Road Warehouse were offroadtents.com. I'm sorry. I got these from offroadtents.com. The guys over there actually gave me 2 other Roto Packs. These Roto Packs are retailing around $100, $110 each. They gave me a set to do as a giveaway. So what you're gonna have to do is, to be able to win those, you're gonna have to leave a comment down below in this video, giving me a thumbs up, commenting something about the video, get inside there, and I'm going to pick a winner, and I'm gonna send you 2 Roto Packs. I'm gonna send you those 2 3-gallon Roto Packs absolutely free. I'm gonna ship them, I'll give them to you, no charge at all, but you gotta comment down below, and I'll go ahead and I'll pick a winner later on down the line, once I get a few comments in here and everything, and we'll see who gets to be the winner for the end of the summer of 2020. Now, as I just showed you guys on the other side of the vehicle were the Roto Packs and the mounting system. Here are my ARB Tread Pros. I have 4 of them on here right now, and they are secured. I have a cable lock on here. I have these really heavy-duty knobs holding these tracks in. There's absolutely no vibration, and even more so, if I didn't have everything open right now, I can actually use these. I can grab a hold of these, put my foot up on the tire, and pull myself up to take down, set up, or do whatever on the rooftop tent or the canopy itself. Super, super strong. I'm very confident in this, and like I said, I did the video after I've already done these. I've been pulling on them, hanging on them, driving with them. That's why I want to share it with you. But I went with the ARB Tread Pros because of the design that ARB has gone ahead. The treads are actually a different material than the rest of the track itself, and they're the only company that's doing it right now. And I really like that, because a lot of the videos and a lot of the information I've been learning about when I was getting into wanting to buy a set of treads, recovery boards, was the board itself and those little nubs were all of the same material. And after guys used them for a little bit, even after a season, they were starting to wear out and melt those treads or just break them off altogether. ARB came up with this new design where this is like a fiberglass reinforced polymer resin that they make the individual treads first, and then they set them into a jig in a form, and then they cast the rest of the board around that. So these nubs are in there permanently, but they're actually a harder material than the actual board itself. These things are super rigid, and we carry these not just to keep trip from getting stuck or even to get us out of a sticky situation, but we use them more to actually level trip out. Because with the Nissan Titan, with this SV that I have, when I turn on the truck and I'm pulling in, I can scroll through the dashboard and I can get to a system where I can see whether or not trip is level, front and back, left and right, as well as my steering. So it's super cool to have treads, because I can get into a certain level and my wife or my son, they'll grab a couple of boards and put them underneath the truck, and then I'll just drive trip up, or I'll back them up on there, and I get leveled perfectly, and that was really cool. It was really important. We used to use those little orange squares, like a Lego block kind of thing. We had them when we used to have a trailer, and they're really good just to pull the trailer up on it, or to put them under the feet when you're kind of using the stabilizing legs that come out on trailers. But for a truck like this, as heavy as I would start to stack them, and as we were trying to drive up them and drive back down and level off, a couple of them would break free, they would get lodged or get unconnected, and we just literally disintegrated one in seconds, and the other one got pretty tore up. So I decided at that point we need to get a couple more treads, and which you should always have 4, because you got 4 tires. So we ended up buying a couple extra, and again, I wanted some place to mount them, because putting these inside the back of the truck and then bouncing around and everything, it just wasn't feasible, especially with Dutch being back there. And if you do a little off-roading, the less stuff you have bouncing around, the safer everybody is. So this mount system, again, if you think you're interested in it, comment down below and I'll go ahead and I'll edit all that content and I'll do a standalone video on how I did all this and why I did it and how it's been working out. Okay, and one other thing I want to do a video on, I did it previously in a video when I was talking about our trip and how we went through with, it was get organized and stuff like that, but that is the RhinoRack Xtray. The RhinoRack Xtray is awesome. This is the large one, and what Josh did, I got this all through Josh at Lolo Overland. What I ended up doing is we ended up with the rack. We actually had to mount the actual track on old trip here, and so you go over to RhinoRack and you put in your model year and everything, and they're going to give you everything that you need to be able to do exactly what I'm doing. They hook you up with the track, they hook you up with the risers, the towers, they hook you up with the crossbars, and then you can get the large Xtray. Don't go to small, not worth it. This large works perfectly. We have a family of 4, so each one of us gets a waterproof bag. Each one of those bags is a 60-liter water bag. Now, we don't always load it up to its full capacity, but to tell you, we could take 4 of those bags, we throw them up there. We have at least 2 sleeping bags, and then Kasha and I will take one of those bags and we'll stuff a bunch of bedding or sleeping bags in for the Wanaka, and we put it up here. So we have 7 bags up here, and then we use those Get Organized, I forgot the name of that bungee, but again, I did a video on that. I'll link it down below. Did a video on that. The Xtray is phenomenal for holding all that. You can easily load this up with 8 bags or more and definitely be secure in storing. And it also was really nice too, because then it acts as a windbreak from your Wanaka, so it's kind of a bonus. But again, as I mentioned in the other video, what I ended up doing is I actually took the Xtray off and I actually sprayed it with not the Krylon, but it was Rust-Oleum bed liner spray. And I did that just to protect it a little bit more from scratches, but I also did it because it now matches the fender flares and some of the other things like the racks, the tracks that I did back here, the backing plates, those I all did on the same one, but that, again, that's another video. So I think at this point, that's about it. That's pretty much the rig itself. There's other things that I could touch on, you know, like the rigid kitchen boxes, but a lot of people that do overlanding, they already kind of know about that. There's really pretty much 2 types of boxes that most people go to. They go to the rigid, which you can get at Home Depot and stuff like that, or they go to the front runner, the little boxes. Those boxes are, you know, they're good. They're sealed up and everything like that, but they're a little bit smaller than the rigid, and the rigid are a little bit heavier duty than those. But you do what you can, whatever you can afford and whatever you think you have space for, I say do that. Our cooler, it's a Walmart purchase. It's a Lifetime cooler, and why I like Lifetime is because they're made in the USA. Lifetime is made down in Texas. Their tables, their chairs, they make those canoes, the paddle boards and the canoes and stuff, as well as their coolers, are all made in the USA. And that is also a super big bonus, because in light of everything that's happening, trying to support a local business, a veteran-owned business, family-owned business, and made in America is always a good thing. So gang, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you very much for all the support. Thank you for your patience during this video. I do appreciate it. If there is any questions, leave them down below. Remember, you have to comment down below and you have to give this video a like if you want to win a set of 3-gallon Roto packs. Okay? You guys have a good one. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. We'll see you on the next video. You take it easy.